Nathan Spencer, and we're checking out the mid-length boards in the Duotone booth. Just one of the biggest trends in winging today. So maybe just tell us a little bit about the R&D process on this board and what it's for and why you love it.
Yeah, I think it all kind of started last year here. We had similar conditions, like really light wind, and everyone could only really downwind could go wing on the downwind boards. And we learned that just having that extra length and a narrower outline helps so much getting going, so we figured we'd just build one right in between like the normal short wide wing boards and the long downwind boards. And this came about. We went through a bunch of prototypes back home in Maui, like pretty much started right after we got home from the show, and worked on it for a long time and came with this. I think we're pretty happy. We're super happy with it. It's very surprisingly stable for the length and width. I mean, you'd think being pretty narrow would be tippy, but with the extra length, it's very stable, and it gets going so easily. And pretty much it works great in any conditions, like really light wind, you get going easy. But then even if you want to kind of ride waves or go downwind, it's just perfect. You can get going easier every time, can ride a smaller foil. And just being narrower, it's very kind of agile and carves super well. So overall, super fun board, and we're really happy with it.
That's cool. And are these already released, or they're just about to come out?
These released, I think, about 2 months ago, maybe. So they've been out for a while, and yeah.
Yeah, cool. What's the biggest size could be at? Is it big enough for a beginner?
Yeah, the biggest size is, I think, a 6'2", I believe, and 115 liter. So pretty big, definitely. If you're not a giant person, you can still use it as a beginner board. But generally, they're made for a bit more kind of intermediate to advanced, and just great all-around board.
Yeah. Okay. And anything on the bottom shape?
So kind of similar to the downwind boards, we went with just a single concave up front, transition to flat bottom in the back, and that really just gets you planing as early as possible and just as easy to get up as possible. And you can see we have the cutouts at the back, and that just helps when you're not moving. You get kind of the stability from this part, but then once you start moving, that just gets out of the water, and you just don't feel the drag from it, I guess, and it releases easier from the bottom. And then we adjusted the rocker. We played around with the rocker a bunch to kind of figure out what felt best. So this has a pretty high nose rocker, and we found it actually got going easier because it just glided really well. But once you're up, you have nice kind of front foot pressure, and it's very maneuverable on the water.
Very cool. Nice corduroy deck on it there.
So yeah, same deck pad, all the foot strap options if you want to jump. But I personally love riding this strapless, but I guess if you're racing or want to jump or just prefer straps, then it works great with both. And we have some new longer carbon boxes with the opening in the back, and just with a longer board, there's so many different types of foils, and just every foil rides differently, so you want to have more options where to put it, especially with a longer board. So we figured that would just be best. And with our foils, it mainly rides kind of right in the middle, but then just with our different front wings and tail wings you can play around with, you move it around a bunch, and so it's nice having the option.
Yeah, cool. Let's take a quick peek at some of the wings down here on the beach.
Yeah. So I think coming out super soon are the new units for the 2025. We have the standard original Dacron unit, and then a new big thing for this year is you can go either two handles, I guess like on this one, or the boom on the white one over there, and just gives you lots of options. And they come in 3 constructions this year, so there's the original Dacron, the D-Lab like we had last year, so we had those 2, and then a new one coming out this year is the SLS, so kind of right in between in terms of kind of weight and performance and price. So it's just a great all-around one right in the middle. I personally love the boom on the new wings as well. Just gives you so many options where to put your hands if you want to do one-handed tricks or whatever. It's super easy to find all the time, move around. But the handles are great. I guess if you're learning more, you just know where to put your hands, and it folds up a bit smaller. And it's kind of easier to know where to ride one-handed. You just put your hand right at the back of that front one, and it works great. And then we did a lot of testing with the designer Ken Winner on these wings to just make them more stable for drifting, and as well with a new stiffer front handle. So they're largely improved in that area, like wave riding and drifting.
Oh yeah,
compared
it's stiffer. It's
compared to
narrow.
Mm-hmm.
Quite stiff.
And then they're just a bit more powerful overall too. So a great upgrade from last year's wings. I love all of them. Yeah.
What's my favorite series? Absolutely,
And you ride primarily on Maui or Oahu?
Yeah, I live on Maui, ride mostly there. It's really windy there, so I generally ride the small wings. And it's nice with the SLS wings this year, they go all the way down to the 2-meter size, where the D-Lab stops at 3.5, so I like riding mostly a 3-meter at home. So I have the SLS now, which is a bit stiffer than the originals, but I still love the originals. They're all great.
That looked really good.
Yeah. And yeah, this one, the SLS, is a Concept Blue, so it's just all undyed materials and more environmentally friendly. And it has the Alula patch right in the middle. It seems to give it that extra bit of stiffness without using too much of it.
Yeah. So by using all the undyed materials and being blue, so that's part of your environmental program?
Yes, with Duotone. I think they do it with the kites and I think some of the windsurf sails maybe, but yeah, just a Concept Blue kind of program.
Yes. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, Sky was talking about some of the surfboards having a lot more environmentally friendly stuff.
I think so, yeah.
That new grip is super comfy.
Yeah, so they're kind of a bit more rounded on the ends. The old ones kind of had a corner, and then it's really nice the way they kind of morph into the wing really smooth. Like you're never gonna really jam your finger, like cut yourself bad. So it's just super nice, and then really easy to change between the boom or handles if you want. And
so if you're like doing it down when you're on Maui and you're flagging out your wing, or you
you can just hold like right there.
Probably.
Yeah, I guess if I'm doing a downwinder, I'll just grab there, but a lot of times riding waves, I grab here and I can just swing it behind me and around. And that's what I love about these wings is they're much more stable, like swinging through the wind and everything, so I don't have to worry about it much when I'm riding waves or downwinding. Yeah.
Anything else in the booth we should check out wing-wise?
Wing-wise, yeah, we have some new foils we can go check out. Right here is the new Glide 2.0. This is an 1100. So a big thing with these is the foil designers, Jerome and Poldo, worked really hard to just give the glides a lot more low end compared to last year. So you can basically just size down. So say you were riding the 1085 last year, you could now go to the new Glide 2.0 900 and have a similar amount of lift, but then just being smaller, you get more speed and more maneuverability out of it. So just a big improvement in these. I love them. I was just out riding this. I would kind of flat water it and then seal some boat wakes. Had kind of the perfect combo of good low end, but turning and good speed.
Yeah, so what size wing would you be using for yourself when you're riding a boat wake?
Riding a boat wake, if I'm flat watering the subboard, then I'd take the 1100 just because it gets up easy. And then I guess if I'm towing up, I'd probably go for the 750 or the 620. And then these also come in D-Lab this year, like the carves from last year. So the D-Lab sizes come in 620, 750, and 900. And you can just feel the improvement in the drag and the glide and the stiffness from those. They feel great, but also just the SLS construction, they feel great as well.
How about for like a bigger guy like me, if I wanted something that I could ride on at wake?
Yeah, there's this 1100 and then a 1350.
Okay.
That 1350 has tons of low end, and then there's the Whizzes that came out a couple months ago. I've been riding the 1450 here a bunch, and it's just crazy good low end on that, and still great maneuverability. So that one's super fun. And then if you want even bigger, we have the Amps, the 1750 and the I think 2145. And those things have crazy low end, you can just go forever.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Cheers.
Yeah.
Thanks.